It's Monday, March 2, and this is your Barbados Today Evening News Update. Some 149 workers employed by Chaps Restaurants Limited are still in the dark about when they will get monies owed to them by their employer. In an abrupt move today, the company that operated restaurants Chin Chin by the Sea, Primo Bar and Bistro, and Hugo's Barbados shut down operations. This evening, company officials met with workers, but some of the still shaken employees say while they were asked to collect last week's pay and outstanding vacation monies, they're still in the dark about severance. Earlier today, Chief Executive Officer Joanne Pooler, who blamed the closure on increased taxes and a reduction in guest spend, attempted to explain the company's handling of the matter.
I think the challenge is always the fact that if you advise staff, particularly for something in the service industry, if you advise staff and we're standing outside of Chin Chin, that Chin Chin's going to close next week, they don't then have the incentive to provide the service that they may have done previously. So where you get somebody, let's say a great waiter who shows, great service and smiles to our tourists, he may have behaved a little bit differently because he knows that he's going to have a challenge next week. So obviously,
but I mean, at the same time,
decision,
he would at least be able to look for another job.
But it only would have given him, if you're talking about 1 week's notice, you're only talking about an extra week to have found a job. And I understand what you're saying.
But don't we have an Employment Rights Act that speaks to situations like this?
Yes, we do, and it speaks to payment in lieu of notice as well.
Exactly.
Pooler met with Tourism Minister Carrie Simmons and Minister in the Ministry of Economic Affairs Marsha Cattle this morning. Simmons made it clear the company's actions were unacceptable.
In all of this, I think it is important for us to understand that labor matters in this country, and it leaves a bad taste in everybody's mouth if you create a situation where there's no prior notice given and people just come to work one day to their job as they must do to find that there is no job. And that is the part that I will not accept, because tourism cannot be about the investor only. It has to be about the people who are making it work on a day-by-day basis. So we've made that very clear. Even if we can come to some form of cooperation on a way forward, there has to be an understanding that that type of approach to investment is not going to be acceptable in Barbados.
Minister Marsha Cattle says the workers are government's first concern. She also responded to issues raised by Pooler about unfair duty-free tax concessions, saying government has been addressing the matter.
We have been looking at this for months, and we are almost at the point of having an agreed framework. So as Minister Simmons said, it is unfortunate that we are only now learning of this at the same time that all of Barbados is waking up to this, and that's why we have to come and have the conversation with the operators to understand, first of all, how are we going to address these 150 potentially dislocated employees we're very concerned about. And I understand that they will have a conversation with staff later today, but also to understand whether it was a fatal decision, whether it was something from which there's no coming back, and that's something that the operators will have to make a determination on. We, of course, will make sure that we can provide as much support to whatever is the transition that has to take place, but we're still really learning a bit about what really is at the bottom of the decision that was taken, because we are satisfied that what was suggested with respect to the levies and to the taxes in the sector are not the full story.
Enough is enough. Today, workers at the Barbados Revenue Authority were called out by the National Union of Public Workers after management failed to meet the February 29 deadline to relocate workers. Since last year, Minister in the Ministry of Finance, Ryan Strawn, had committed to moving the workers into new accommodations in light of poor conditions at the Treasury building. But today, Acting Deputy General Secretary of the NUPW, Wayne Walron, revealed that workers are being asked to stay for another month, and that is unacceptable.
We are saying that we don't want to wait to something where the disaster happens. You have the evidence that the building is sick, it's a sick building. You have the evidence the staff have done ill, and therefore we can't keep shifting the deadline. Now today we met with management to have a further discussion on what they say they want another month again, to get the Women Corporate Center ready in terms of painting, the readiness, and to get it sanitized and everything, to get everything ready. And we are saying, look, if workers are being asked indefinitely to hold on pending some alternative accommodation, they're at the point where they're saying, look, you are not serious, you're not taking safety serious. The Parliament was located recently. That was treated with a level of priority. We're saying these are people too, and therefore you cannot discriminate.
Former inmates will be given an opportunity to start up businesses on leaving prison after they have served their time. The Ministry of Youth and Community Empowerment will roll out an initiative known as the Youth Prison Fellowship Program. Minister Adrian Ford made the announcement today during the estimates debate.
Speaking at the graduating class, and I spent some time speaking to a graduation class. I was not in America with bangles on me. I was with a graduation class. And when I saw the talent that those youngsters brought out in terms of the paintings, the clothing, some who were involved in the cultural aspects of it, some who were involved in mechanics, agriculture. Have you heard the stories of these young men? All they want is an opportunity and a chance. And the one thing that they will have this opportunity with in society is if we make them small businessmen, along with the trust loans that will seek to change the way how we reach out to the ordinary folk in this country.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
It's Festive Friday at the Bridgetown Night Market at Pelican Craft Center. Kick off the weekend this Friday from 4 p.m. to midnight with loads of food, drinks, and entertainment. Get ready for Crop Over with the Rhythm Roots Street Parade. Party like it's Kadooman Day on the street around Pelican Village with costume revelers, music, and more. It's Festive Friday. It's Festive Friday at the Bridgetown Night Market at Pelican Village Center from 4 p.m. to midnight. Admission free.
To regional news now, the count is on to determine who will lead Guyana for the next 5 years. Officials reported steady to heavy voting throughout the day as more than 600,000 eligible voters cast their ballots. The election is a straight fight between President David Granger and his Partnership for a National Unity and Irfan Ali and the main opposition People's Progressive Party Civic. This morning, both leaders were satisfied with the process.
I have observed that there is tremendous enthusiasm on the part of the electors. All of the stations that I visited indicate that persons came out very early this morning, literally at 6 o'clock. Everything was in order. The staff was in place. They had all of the materials. I have not received a single complaint in all of the stations I visited, and I've been visiting stations for nearly 3 hours now. And the staff are aware of their duties, and they are performing their duties efficiently. There's, of course, tremendous enthusiasm in the stations, in all of the places I've seen. And I expect there's going to be a massive turnout. And I think the people of Guyana should be happy that this democratic process is moving smoothly. The international observers should have nothing to complain about.
The day started with a good turnout early in the morning. But there were some hiccups that we haven't done a full assessment of as yet. In some areas, people complain that the information they receive from the desk clerk, the information clerk, the GCOM information clerk is confusing. So we are addressing a lot of that. So later in the day, we'll have a full assessment. It's still early as to what is going on there. And as you know, a decision was taken for the Essequibo boat not to do its normal trips today. So we had to put some systems in place to assist voters who wanted to get back to Essequibo to vote. But so far this morning, we are on track. We're very confident. Our supporters are coming out in their numbers. And I think we are heading for victory today.
On the international front, in the United States, 4 more people have died from the coronavirus in Washington state, bringing the total fatalities there to 6. 5 of the deaths occurred in King County, whose main city is Seattle.
Unfortunately, we are now starting to find more COVID-19 cases in Washington that appear to be acquired locally here in Washington. And we now know that the virus is actively spreading in some communities here in Washington.
The number of cases nationwide is now up to roughly 100. U.S. lawmakers on Monday tried to calm fears surrounding the spread of the coronavirus by emphasizing plans for a rapid increase in the number of available test kits. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, whose state has 1 confirmed case, said the Centers for Disease Control now allows New York to conduct its own tests for the virus.
We want to get our testing capacity as high as possible. I said to the people around this table that I would like to have a goal of 1,000 tests per day.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.